don't normally do this, but this is in two parts. I'm sorry. This is part one. So here's the deal. I know we all have like sad, sob story, whatever, and nobody really wants to listen to the sad stuff. So you don't have to listen. But I'm going to tell you about the last year and a half of my life, and I'm going to do it in the most quick and concise way possible. But I have tiptoed around a lot of things and not just been totally candid. And it's not that I feel that I need to be candid, but something told me this morning, just sit down and pour it all out, put it out there. And then, as my dad would always say, pick yourself up by the bootstraps, put it behind you, and move on. And so that's what I'm going to do. When I say something told me to, if you've been around for even a minute, you know, if I say something told me to, it was the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is your advocate, and the Holy Spirit is advocating for me to put the stuff that's been holding me down behind me. I'm going to try and do this without too much crying. I can't promise. I haven't had a cup of coffee in, I can't even tell you how long, but I felt like we need more for this. If you've gone through anything similar to some of the stuff I'm about to discuss, or just can relate to life just being chaotic and awful for a season of your life, would you please comment and tell me so I feel a little bit less alone, because I feel very alone a lot of the time. Are you ready? We're going to do this as quickly as I can. 2022, I joined a church. I was at the time struggling tremendously with drinking. Nobody knew. It was very much a private problem. Even my husband didn't know. I managed to get sober. Then with the help of a GLP-1, I managed to lose all the weight that had been holding me back from being the best mom I could be, from being the best wife I could be, from being the best person I could be. 2023, I was kind of at the height. Like, I felt great. I was so confident. My self-worth was the best it had ever been. I went through tremendous therapy. I washed myself of all the burdens of my past. Not entirely, but, you know, healed as well as I could have, and learned how to cope with the things from my past. So then I got really involved with the church I was working at. I felt tremendously called by the Lord to be there, and it was very much out of my element. It was very much something I never even imagined for myself, but I sincerely believed that that is what the Lord wanted me to. While I was doing all of that, I was still consistently posting online and trying to share my story and help people. And then I kind of just tapered off from that. When I came back to posting online, there were so many comments from people that said, since you've been gone, I found a GLP-1 and it helped me, and I, have a whole new life because of that. And that motivated me tremendously to come back. So fast forward to like the start of 2024, I had been working at the church for a little bit, and I was still trying to iron out some of the job description stuff, which was chaos. In that time, I was just so stressed, and my health was just deteriorating like day by day, but I didn't really realize that at the time. I was just so stressed, and I couldn't see the forest for the trees, or however that saying goes. 2024, as soon as the year started, I decided to close down my business that I had been running for, I believe it was 14 years at the time. It was my photography business. It was my baby. I was really proud of it. I had built it up. It was doing well, and I chose to close it because I felt that the Lord really wanted me in this job in ministry. Shortly after that, in the midst of all my stress, one day while I went to go do something at the church, I had started the laundry sink here to soak something. And then I ran off to the church really quick to go, take care of a task. And then I was going to come back home. And my husband had picked up my son because my son needed to come home because he wasn't feeling well. Get a message from my husband that I had left the sink on. Basically, just so much damage to our house. So much damage. A mistake I can never take back. And a year of my life I can never get back. More than a year of my life. Mostly, this emotion comes in the form of the pain it caused my children by the upset it caused in their lives. My children had never known anything but stability and consistency, and they learned very quickly how little their possessions mattered, how little a lot of things mattered. My children's safe haven was the walls inside of our home, because unfortunately I have some less than stellar neighbors. I have a couple of very fantastic neighbors too, but I have some very toxic neighbors. And a couple of them in particular have made my children not feel welcome in their own neighborhood, on their own street. And so the safety of even their own home being gone was hard. And in the midst of that, we had been discussing rehoming our pets, because one of my sons has terrible allergies. Even with immunotherapy, they weren't getting better, they were actually getting worse. When all of this happened and we were having to board them and everything, we decided to just kind of peel off the Band-Aid and rehome them, because it was the best thing for them too, so that they also didn't have all that chaos and confusion and stuff consistently. So we decided to rehome our pets. So my kids no longer feel comfortable on the street. They don't feel comfortable in the four walls of their home. They've lost their pets, and I'm feeling like the worst mom ever. So we spent all of 2024 and pretty much up until like a week ago working on trying to get our house back to normal. We're still trying to get reimbursed from insurance for part of some of the stuff that we had like dealt with claims and everything on. However, we just fronted everything.